The 2021 WWE Draft continued on this week's Monday Night Raw as the other half of WWE's roster was placed on either Raw or SmackDown. The first night of the draft had its fair share of highlights. But heading into Raw, there were still plenty of questions. How would WWE handle the women's titles if Becky stayed on SmackDown? Would Paul Heyman be able to keep the Usos on the blue brand under Roman Reigns' orders? Will WWE find a way to undo splitting up the New Day again? Check out the full results from Night 2 of the WWE Draft. Becky Lynch to Raw. The man announced she had been drafted at the start of the show, then teased the idea of becoming Becky 2 belts by challenging Charlotte Flair again. Instead, a non-title match between Flair and Bianca Belair was set for the main event. The Usos to SmackDown. Much to Paul Heyman's relief, Jimmy and Jey Uso were taken by SmackDown with the Blue brand's first overall pick of the night. Bobby Lashley to Raw. After having the best year of his career and finally winning the WWE Championship, the Almighty will remain on Raw. There was no mention of the recently unified Hurt Business during the selection. Sasha Banks to SmackDown. The blueprint will remain on SmackDown, as confirmed by the final pick of the first round. Banks will challenge both Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Crown Jewel on October 21st. Seth Rollins to Raw. The man formerly known as the Monday Night Messiah is heading back to Raw after spending the past year on SmackDown. The pick is a strong indication WWE is once again keeping couples together, as this keeps Rollins with his wife, Becky Lynch. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs to SmackDown. The Intercontinental Champion and his guitar-shredding tag partner are staying on SmackDown. Somewhere, Pat McAfee is celebrating. Damian Priest to Raw. With the IC champion staying on SmackDown, the Red brand immediately kept its mid-card championship on Raw by selecting Priest. Sheamus to SmackDown. The Celtic Warrior is moving to SmackDown after having possibly the greatest year of his career in terms of in-ring action. AJ Styles and Omos to Raw. Styles and Omos will challenge RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team Championships at Crown Jewel on October 21st. Shayna Baszler to SmackDown. Earlier in the night, Baszler attempted to injure Dana Brooke just like she had Nia Jax and Eva Marie in recent weeks. However, she was stopped by Doudrop. Kevin Owens to Raw. The former WWE Universal Champion is heading back to Raw after, unfortunately, not having much to do in recent months over on SmackDown. Shia Lee to SmackDown. The first NXT call-up of the night saw Shia Lee make the jump to the blue brand. There was no mention of the rest of her Tian Sha faction from NXT, meaning she'll be going up alone. The Street Profits. After teasing that they might get chosen for different brands over the past couple of weeks, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins were both drafted back to Raw after spending the last year on Friday nights. The Viking Raiders. Former Raw Tag Team Champions Eric and Ivar are moving to SmackDown after doing very little in the Raw Tag division over the past few months. Finn Balor to Raw. Fresh off losing to Roman Reigns in bizarre fashion at Extreme Rules, Finn Balor is back on Raw for the first time since his unfortunate encounter with The Fiend. Ricochet to SmackDown. The high-flying Ricochet will look for a change of scenery by moving to SmackDown. Karrion Kross to Raw. The two-time former NXT champion will remain on Raw. Kross was called up to Raw over the summer while still holding the NXT title, then dropped it to Samoa Joe at NXT TakeOver 36. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza to SmackDown. The two cousins recently paired up as a tag team and are now heading to SmackDown together. Alexa Bliss to Raw. Bliss was on the losing end of a Raw Women's Championship match at Extreme Rules, and her post-match breakdown was reportedly WWE's way of writing her off TV while she undergoes sinus surgery. Cesaro to SmackDown. Now that both Cesaro and Sheamus are on the same brand again, perhaps the bar could be on its way to a reunion? Carmella to Raw. Much to Corey Graves' delight, Carmella is joining him over on Raw. Ridge Holland to SmackDown. The former rugby star was the last NXT call-up of the night, getting the nod from SmackDown. Gable Steveson to Raw. While still in college, Steveson is currently under a nil deal with WWE, and the 3 years on his WWE contract will officially begin once he graduates. Sami Zayn to SmackDown. Zayn was the last official pick of the night. Naturally, he wasn't too happy about it. Stay tuned for more from WWE.